Greetings. Welcome to your favorite channel when it comes to news that affects Nigeria. That is to say, unfiltered news. That is the Nigeria Unfiltered podcast. Today, we are going to be discussing interesting topic, and this topic has been on the news for the past 2 to 3 weeks now, and it is going to be discussed alongside my friend, my brother, and a comrade in the person of
Harry. It's a pleasure to be on the channel once again.
yeah. Thank you, comrade Imafidon. Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm great.
Yeah.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to be on this channel once again.
Hope the economy or the Tinubu economy has not pushed you to one corner.
Well, as you can see, we are coping. Nigeria, we are made of steel. No matter the circumstances, we keep coping.
Okay, that's
for the grace of God.
That's interesting. So let's nip it at the bud. First, I want to discuss this issue that involved a particular senator from the southeast and a cab rider in Abuja. And if, of course, you follow through that story, you will understand that that story has garnered a lot of sympathy and supporters, whilst human rights activists, lawyers, freelancers, freedom fighters, agitators for justice have been clamoring and be rallying around the cab rider to push for justice, having seen what was displayed on the public where the senator slapped this young guy. But we are not going there. We don't want to talk on that again. Of recent, we now saw that same guy whom everybody has been trying to speak for, trying to advocate for freedom and justice, went on, we don't know what happened, and apologized for his action. I would like you to throw light, your opinion. How do you see that in this Nigeria situation?
Well, thank you very much. The situation is appalling. Let me put that, it's appalling. But the truth be told, this is Nigeria, and this shows the decadence in our society. And this shows the life, like I always talk about, the mentality of Nigerian, of slave and master, and this is what is in display here. As you can see, with all impunity, all the rubbish, all the dehumanizing statement by the Senate, even to the extent of threat of life, and even calling IG or police. You can see everything in that story. Analyze Nigeria in full, how degraded the country have become, a lawless country if you have the means. And the young man coming to apologize to the senator. When you are running a society that believe in we run politics of rice today in Nigeria. So what do you expect? The young man at learned he was not the owner of the taxi he used for his Uber work. So the senator, they have gone to the backyard to do some backyard settlement. It's so funny, and the most painful aspect of it is that this young man is from area. I know they carry last, but this time this guy carry last. Let me put it like that, because this will stand as a deterrent to other senators and other people high placed in Nigeria. I think the people in the high authority, they started with threats. They might also have gone back to use the threat. We don't know what happened behind the scenes, but whatever must have been the case, people stood with their resources, with their time, to fight for this young man. This shows to the extent Nigeria can betray Nigeria. And this is why Nigeria as a country, we are not making headway.
Thank you, Comrade Imafidon. You mentioned something that is very striking. This guy is from the South, and he has the blood of the South. How come he now ceded to intimidation and oppression. Because I'm trying to put dots on the i's and cross the t's regarding this particular issue. This guy is already working on the pathway of honor. Persons are being served breakfast who thought either to that they couldn't, nobody can talk to them. And it is now a deterrent, like you said, it's now a deterrent to all those that have been doing it, though not yet exposed, and all those that are potential predators. But now that this guy has gone the wrong path, to me, I fear for the future of whistleblowers. How do you not think justice can stand in a country like Nigeria? Because whistleblowing now is now becoming very, very, very risky. People who try to speak the truth, even if the truth self is relative, the little truth they're trying to say now, they're being subjugated, victimized, oppressed. So I don't know. What do you have to say as regarding?
Well, like I said earlier, I think you're now trying to make it wide. In this context, Nigerian will always be Nigerian. You can see even the high and low, the high and the mighty, they involve in this betrayal every day. That is why you see that in Nigeria today, more or less, we operate a one-party system because they defect from one party to another without shame, without impunity. So it just shows the degradation of the society. That people integrity. We are in a society that don't value integrity. But what we value today is the color of currency. Once we see the color of currency, an average Nigerian is easily moved with what they can see right now. So nobody think about the bigger picture. So this is what is at play. It might be because maybe it's just an ordinary Nigeria or whatever you call him. It is a Nigerian problem. It shows the extent of betrayal that lies in this country and how people are being oppressed daily. This is just an isolated case. If not of people that came out, this is what happening every day in Nigeria. Talk about the issue of whistleblowing
And how it can be empowered, so people can at least say something when they see something wrong, even though they're not saying it in a way to cause every disaster. But it should be able to. There should be a law, and there should be a kind of backing to make whistleblowing to some extent more strong.
I was actually going to that. You talk about whistleblowing. I remember the former Vice President, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari.
Former President.
Yeah. He came up with the issue of whistleblowing. What happened? A lot of people were coming out with issues. And what happened at the end? Many people there were a lot of whistleblowers, people came out. But when it started affecting the high and mighty, what happened? The whistleblowing policy came like to shut some certain people.
Oh yes, I agree.
But when it started getting to the people
I agree with you on that.
Came up with this policy, what happened? They brought another law which even make whistleblowing intimidating.
Yeah.
Because now being a whistleblower, have to think twice because the penalty of it. Now, because of the lawlessness and the callousness in the society, the same security agent we are talking about who were used to intimidate this young man in question, the same security agent, you will blow whistle and tell them, give them information. They are the ones that will make arrest. How will you authenticate that these same people did not, through the back door, inform the person you are blowing whistle against? They relocate whatever have been blown, then to render your whistleblowing invalid, so that you can be held as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
The policy talked about protecting the whistleblower, but today it's not. The whistleblowers are not protected. In a serious society, when there's a topic like a situation like this whistleblowing, they should be protected, even if the information is not accurate. You can work on it. It will be a lead. What do you have today? You have today the anti-graft agency who all they can prosecute is Yahoo boys. And the whole Yahoo men they have been arresting, none have been prosecuted to the latter. So that it is what it is. That is the state of the nation.
Yeah, I also think that one of the major reasons why Nigeria cannot really be at the top in terms of value development at this material point in time is because of the systemic failure, value deficiency. Because like you said, the whistleblowing was one-sided. It was a mechanism to witch hunt people. So I see that as even devilish itself. Because that, and it has rubbed on a lot of Nigerians. You try to preach something you are not. You try to you know, in the morning you are a saint, at night you are a devil. We don't really know what to do again. So it's as if the leaders are interested in playing divide and rule on the citizens. They will use two heads to jam, and at the long run, so they can achieve their evil intention. And a lot of betrayal. You can see, like you said, there's a lot of betrayal in a system that is decayed because of the high rate of poverty. Anybody can betray anybody. Anybody can be a spy, can be, you know, an agent of. So trust issue now is how can we now bring in trust now? Because for you and I to work together, there must be a level of trust. Now if you are coming out for election, I don't know, you are coming out for election now, and you want me to support you and your philosophy, despite that I know you, I must be able to, you know, go to an agent to have trusted you for me to, you know, to leave everything I want to do and give you my money. So how can we bring in trust and miss all these wahala in the country?
Yeah, thank you. You know, the issue of trust. Are there people we can trust? Yes. Are there still Nigerians who believe in the greatest of Nigerians? Yes. But what is the issue? Why is Nigeria not great? Nigeria is not great because the philosophy of the present generation, the ideology, the orientation of Nigeria right now is very poor. So going forward, we need sincerity on the part of government. That is why I support the school of thought that said, for we to get it right in Nigeria, first of all, we must get our electoral processes right. We must elect the rightful candidate into the right position.
I agree with you on that.
Because that is when we have a voice. You cannot talk to man. You see what is happening today in Nigeria. People cannot protest because the man there believes that he burgled his way to the power. If truly the people actually voted for him, you will listen to the people. Today, power is taken by force. So until the people are able to take the power back, because power belongs to the people. That is the beauty of democracy. Like you see what plays out in America, the voice of the people. But in Nigeria, people think they can burgle their way to the power. So long as this pandemic continue to persist in our nation,
Yeah.
I think we will continue to work in the path of destruction.
Yeah. Thank you, Comrade Makino. Now, there is something that I like to bring here in the course of this our conversation. You know, there have been a lot of concentration, a lot of focus on the federal, on the person of the president when it comes to, you know, corruption, evil, atrocity, anything that has to do with value deficiency. And we have often times, because of that, secluded and exonerated and paid deaf ears on the local government and the state government. Meanwhile, if you understand what is happening recently, most of these state governors, they are even doing almost exactly what the federal is doing. So I think it's a holistic thing. Now, there is a recent case, of course it's not new in the Nigerian setting, of the Delta state government, the past government, the person of Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. That guy single-handedly looted over 1 trillion naira. My God. Over 1 trillion naira in the course of his administration. And I'm trying to find the rationality, the logic behind this. How can one man, in the course of his administration from 2015 to 2023, take public goods, public fund, divert it to himself, and you expect us, the citizens of, okay, I'm a Delta, you expect us, the citizens of that state, to start shouting for him? And the funny thing is that when they come out in public, they will do one small road or build one small school, and they will do as if they are doing us good. How can you steal billions and use 1 million to do road, and you expect us to clap for you?
You know, my fellow comrades, you know, you see, like, it's not an isolated case. No one will say pandemic, but I use the word pandemic. When you talk about corruption in Nigeria, corruption in Nigeria has become a pandemic, and it has become part of our DNA, even to our born children, because this is the orientation. Our orientation is corrupt in itself. So, yeah, it's a recent case. Delta State have been pinpointed. Personally, there are a lot of variables. The person in question, don't forget, is the vice president to the major opposition party in the last general election.
Yeah.
Because today in Nigeria, there is no state governor, past or present, who can boldly come out and say his hands are clean. I thank you very much. You mentioned something very important. You talk about local government. For now, thank God that we are actually coming out of the shadow. But before now, we can't actually hold anybody accountable when it comes to the local government.
Yes, that's true.
Because the local government were the foot soldiers of the state governors, and they are always living at the mercy of.
But
the
remember,
state
they are like conduit pipe. That's why most governors use critical committees.
Yes, that is why I'm telling you that they are the foot soldiers of the state governor, and the state government have put them in their pocket because their allocation. That's why we say we have a 3 tier of government. The federal and the state get the allocation. The local government allocation pass through the state governors, and the state governor give to the local government what they choose. Thank God, gradually the cries of Nigeria over the years is gradually paying off in the form of autonomy to the local government. Now, when the local government fully autonomous,
yes,
we can start holding local government accountable for their action. But for now, the state government and the federal government, of course, leadership is the key. The state government do get away with whatever act they perform, because why? The center. But if everything is right at the center, the state government will be afraid because there is no solace. There is a word I used to say, corruption. What is it called?
Okay.
What is immunity?
Yeah.
Is the give birth to inequality. Immunity is the birth of inequality.
Okay, it's a bedrock.
It gave birth,
yes,
to inequality. So and it's the mother of impunity.
Okay.
So most of these state governors, while they are in power with all the whole entourage and everything, they believe they can do and undo. And of course, you cannot probe them because of that immunity.
Okay.
Likewise, the federal government.
Okay. So, comrade, I don't intend to cut you short. Now, there's something I like to state here. I think the federal government is not overtly controlling state government based on the federal system we're operating. Because according to Professor Casey Ware, the doyen of federalism, he said that for every system to operate, to be called a federal state, there must be constitutional backing for 2 components. It can be more than 2. And each component, the federal and component unit, should have their statutory rights and obligation. So they operate in a kind of way, in an isomorphic way, in the sense that what the federal has control over certain things. And I think in Naija state, we have the exclusive list where the federal government take ownership. For example, we're talking about proliferation of arms is the is the work of the federal government. Also, the ownership of currency and production of currency, that's for the federal government. Then on the concurrent list, where you have both federal and state, like that of health, that of joint defense, it is schools. It is for both the federal and the state. And also, the constitution says that when there is a conflicting issue, that is when the federal can come up. But now, when a system is corrupt, surrounded by corrupt state governors, for example, and you have one leader at the federal that is relatively value based, how do you expect, I'm asking you a question, how do you expect that leader to really stamp his foot in the aquas of government?
Thank you. You see, when you well defend federalism and all you have said, but I want to remind you of one thing, like the one we practice, because I'm a practical person. So I want to tell you practically what is on ground, what we practice in Nigeria. You know, in Nigeria, we'll be crying for true federalism. We have been crying for resource control. These are ingredients. So long as the state governor keep running to the federal government for allocation, the federal government dictates what goes to who gets what. And these are the reason why we cannot isolate.
Thank you very much, Comedy Mafias. I believe we have done justice to this particular issue that we decided to talk today. I would like to conclude by saying that, because we don't have all the time. We don't have all the time. And I know you were just going on and on. If I give you the time, you just want to even make everything. Let the changes start. Nah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you, and it's nice doing it with you. And just a parting word for our audience before I call it a day.
Well, personally, I believe Nigeria as one of the greatest nations on earth. Nigeria can still be great again. It all take the effort of every Nigerian. And I want to applaud most especially the youth. The I don't care, it doesn't concern me attitude. It's our time we do away with it. We should know that it is our concern. It is our combined efforts to build a nation that we crave for. Thank you very much.
All right, so our dear viewers, today we appreciate you for everything you have been doing for us to ensure that this podcast see the light of the day, and we are here to commit our policies and our principles once again to you. We are going to be giving you information that will be unfiltered. We are not for any group. We are just here to let the public know and come up with pragmatic solutions, because enough of theories, enough of information that seems good but in the long run is not making sense. So our purpose here is discuss issues, dissect it, and come up with pragmatic solutions. So thank you. Do well to listen, comment, engage, and of course subscribe. Wherever we are now on TikTok, go on TikTok. We are there, Naija Unfiltered Podcast. On Facebook, we have a page there. Go and engage us there, Naija Unfiltered Podcast. On Instagram, we are there, Naija Unfiltered Podcast, and of course our YouTube channels. Thank you very much, and do have a lovely day. I remain my humble self, Shalom Ufoma Erude. Thank you. Bye bye.